Hello and welcome to the morning sports briefing here on Friday, the 7th of August. In the news today, Warriors to announce new head coach. The Roosters ease past Dragons to kick off round 13. Pakistan in control of first test against England. We also have updates from the PGA. US PGA first major of the season, or the first major since lockdown anyway, that has started. An update from Bowls New Zealand for as a clothing county to Manukau makes the Bowls 3-5. And over on snow sports, the freestyle series cyber slope style medals have been announced. Starting off with the cricket news, and Pakistan reached 326 all out, and that was really due to three players. Mahmood, who scored 156. He first set up a good partnership with Baba, who got 69, and then later on Shadab helped also out with 45. Everyone else dropped everyone else went cheaply. So yes, just those three batsmen really contributing there. Broad got 3 wickets, as did Archer in that effort. In reply, England lost 4 wickets cheaply to finish the day on 92 for 4 after Burns, Sibley, Root and Stokes all went cheaply. Pope and Butler have started to dig in there. Pope currently on 46 and Butler on 15. But say those first 4 wickets all went cheaply. So Pakistan in the better position there. Now I'm going to hand it over to Stephen, who's going to take us through our birthdays.
Thank you very much, Paul, and good morning to everybody tuning into New Zealand Sport Radio. Well, we're on the cusp of a weekend, but the birthdays keep rolling out. And in birthdays this morning, a 2-time Rugby World Player of the Year, an All Black and a Brave Blossom International, and one of New Zealand's best ever surfers. And that's where we start things this morning. Maz Quinn, born this day, the 7th of August, 1976, is a New Zealand surfer, a 4-time winner of New Zealand's Surfing National Championship and winner of the 1996 Billabong Pro Junior Series. Quinn is regarded as one of the country's foremost surfers during the 1990s. Quinn took part in the World Qualifying Series, a lower-ranked Pro Tour, which enables surfers to attempt to qualify for the Elite World Championship Tour. In 1999, Maz became the first New Zealander to win the WQS event, and in 2001, he became the first New Zealander ever to qualify for the World Championship Tour, doing so becoming one of the world's top 44 ranked male surfers. Moving right along, William Rob Gordon, or Robert Gordon, born this day, the 7th of August 1965, is a former New Zealand Rugby Union player, a loose forward where he could play either blindside, flank or number 8. Gordon represented Otago and Waikato at provincial level. He was a member of the New Zealand national side, the All Blacks, in 1990 on the Tour of France. Between 97 and 99, when working and playing for Toshiba in Tokyo, Japan, he played 17 test matches for Japan, including 3 test matches at the 1999 Rugby World Cup. He's also the brother of All Black Steve Gordon as well. And finally, Julian Savia, born this day, the 7th of August 1999, is a New Zealand Rugby Union player. He currently plays wing for the Hurricanes in Super Rugby, although we haven't seen him yet. Savia formerly played for Toulon in the top 14 and is a former captain of the Wellington Lions in the Mitre 10 Cup. Between 2012-2017, he won 54 caps for the All Blacks. Savia was nominated for World Rugby Player of the Year in 2014 and 2015, winning the award for Try of the Year. I may have called him the 2-time World Player of the Year. That was a nominee of the year. the man they call the bus. Well, it's certainly not quite parked at the moment. Hopefully it'll come out of the garage very soon and get a run for either the Lions or the Hurricanes. Back to you, Paul.
Thank you very much, Stephen. I'm sure he will get a run for the Lions at the very least. Yes, we have got those sides named for the game on Saturday evening between the Hurricanes and the Chiefs, and Julian Severe has not been selected. With Ben Lamb heading off overseas, we see Wes Houston move over to the left wing, and Corbus Van Wyk coming on to the right wing there. And for the Hurricanes, otherwise it's a pretty stable lineup. Over for the Chiefs, and no Aaron Cruden this week after he racked up 100 caps. So Caleb Trask comes in at 10, and there's been quite a bit of coverage of the number 23 jersey as Kini Naholo gets that one, brother of Waisaki Naholo. Kini has been playing down in Taranaki for the Mitre 10 Cup. Has had a couple of injuries, unfortunately, that has restricted his game time there. But good to see him get an opportunity here at Super Rugby level now then. That game will be at 7 o'clock on Saturday evening. And on Sunday, we have the Crusaders versus the Highlanders at 3:30. Over in Super Rugby AU, and this evening we'll see the Rebels versus the Brumbies kicking off at 9 p.m. And then tomorrow evening, after that Hurricanes Chiefs game at 9:15, you'll see the Waratahs versus the Reds. Coming on to onto football news, and last night we saw Adelaide United draw 1-1 with Sydney FC. That isn't going to alter the fact that Sydney FC will still finish top of the table, but Adelaide United will be still looking over their shoulders. Actually, Adelaide United now on 35 points with one game left to go. They're clear of the Newcastle Jets, who are 4 points behind, but Western United have got a number of games in hand, so they have the potential of closing the 5-point gap up to Adelaide United. That is probably the only team that can actually catch them now for to deny them to get into the finals series. This evening we have got Western United playing Western Sydney Wanderers. So yeah, an important game there for Western United if they want to make the finals. Moving on then to rugby league news. I'm going to hand you back to Stephen for our NRL update.
Thanks again, Paul. And there's plenty happening in rugby league news this morning because the Warriors are set to name their new coach. South Sydney Roosters coach Wayne Bennett stood down, and the Roosters ease past the Dragons, and we'll look at what's happening in the league games on tonight. But it's with the Warriors we start with this morning. The New Zealand Warriors appear to have found the man to guide them into a new era after being knocked back by interim head coach Todd Payten earlier in the week. The Auckland club is set to hand the reins to veteran coach Nathan Brown, who would take over at the end of the 2020 NRL campaign. Speaking on Australian radio, Brown confirmed he was well down the track in discussions with the Warriors and had ceased all talks with any other teams in search of a new head coach, with the deal potentially being confirmed by the end of the weekend. I'm a career coach. I love coaching. The Warriors' job is a great opportunity, as is the Cowboys' job, Brown said on Triple M radio. So we follow that story with interest. Another story, keeping it with the coaches, Wayne Bennett has been stood down by the NRL for a period of 2 weeks on COVID hold after breaching the NRL's strict biosecurity rules by dining at Leichhardt Restaurant for lunch yesterday. Bennett earlier today admitted he had dined at Grappa with his partner, who I live with, but claimed he thought that it was within the rules that governed the bubble. Following an investigation by the NRL, that was deemed not to be the case, and the master coach will be forced to coach his side from the confines of his home for the next fortnight as a result. Bennett is also joined on the sidelines by Dragon star Paul Vaughan, who was caught eating at an Illawarra cafe this morning. That was yesterday morning, by the way. Both Bennett and Vaughan must isolate from their respective squads for 2 weeks and test negative to COVID at the end of the conclusion of the COVID hold before returning to their squads, the NRL declared via a press conference release yesterday. Acting CEO Andrew Abdo said the NRL's decision was regrettable but necessary part of the NRL's biosecurity protocols. Man, what part of that don't these guys understand? Anyway, back to what's the action happening on the field. The Sydney Roosters have shored up their spot in the top four with a 24-16 win over the St. George Illawarra Dragons last night in the opening round of round 13, beg your pardon. Mitchell Orbison celebrated his 300th NRL game in style, scoring a try and finishing at 94 metres run, 4 tackle bus and 13 tackles. It was fitting that Orbison would be forced to be Mr. Fix-It on his milestone night, having made a name for himself as a dependable and reliable player for Trent Robinson's men, regardless of where he is playing. There were ominous signs early for the Dragons as Nrl saw the Roosters handed early possession and they made them pay. Joey Manu sliced over for the first try of the night before Orbison followed suit shortly after. But with their season on the line, the Dragons fought their way back into the contest courtesy of a Zach Lomax double, although there was some contention over the second try, with Matt Duffy also claiming the 4-pointer, but the home side would just be glad to be locked up at halftime. The back-to-back defending premiers showed all their class in the second half, though, as they raced away for a comfortable win. Satili Tupu Ornea was the first to crash over before the Dragons stage fright under the high ball, and Manu capitalised. Luke Carey iced the win with a late try to cap off a brilliant outing where he finished with a try assist and a line break assist. Matt Duffy scored late, but it meant too little too late. The win keeps the Roosters ensconced in the top 4, and we'll quickly look at tonight's action. We've got a couple of games on the cards. Of course, we've got the Manly Seagulls, who've been struggling lately, and they are up against the Warriors, who are a little bit on the rise, and that's from Lottie Sydney at 8 p.m. tonight. And in the late game, we have the Rabbitohs with the coachless Wayne Bennett taking on the Broncos, and that's from ANZ Stadium in Sydney, and that is a 9:55 p.m. kickoff. I'm going to take a breath, hand you back to Paul, and I'll be back tomorrow morning with some more rugby league news on the cusp of what is your weekend.
Thank you very much, Stephen. And as Hugh says, yes, the sport that just keeps on giving there in the NRL. And as Aaron says, he was just having a date night. Deary me, getting a band for having a date night. Poor man, poor man. There you go. They all knew the rules. So you're moving on then to the golf, and in the US PGA, Danny Lee will be representing us here in New Zealand, and he is currently tied 44th at the moment. He was 1 under, but he's slipped back to 1 over par on the. He's through to the 12th hole of the first round. So go well, Danny, in that tournament over there in the USA. Don't forget this evening that netball returns to Invercargill, and the Steel will be taking on the Mystics over there. That starts at 7 p.m. this evening in the ANZ Premiership. The Mystics will be looking to get the win there, to keep the pressure on the Mainland Tactics, because currently they are 3 points behind the Mainland Tactics, who are Mainland Tactics in second, and the Northern Mystics in third there. Moving on then to bowls, and a Manuwira club has qualified for the Bowls 3-5 tournament, televised tournament, the Manuwira club from Counties Manukau have qualified for the Bowls 3-5 tournament. So congratulations to them. They're the last. They took the final spot in that competition, that is going to be televised. One of their big decisions now is to decide what is going to be their nickname for that tournament. So good luck to them in their first outing in the Bowls 3-5. Over in snow sports, and as we said, the freestyle series cyber slope competition has been completed. Congratulations to Gustav Legowski, who won the Open free ski men, and Ruby Andrews, who won the Open freestyle ski for women. On the snowboarding side, Samuel Finmore won the Open freestyle for the men, and for the women's on the snowboard, Cool Waka Ushima won the women's Open freestyle for the snowboarding. Congratulations to Jared Kenny, who has got himself a new deal in the Australian NBL, coming off the back of helping the Nuggets win the Sal's NBL over here in New Zealand. He has got himself another year at the Cairns outfit, and the Cairns taipans, named after the most deadly snake in the world, apparently. There, so congratulations to him. What was voted the defensive player of the season in the Sal's NBL. On the contract renewal side of things, and Vitaly Bottas has signed a new deal with Mercedes. Now Mercedes, obviously top of the championships at the moment, and have the best car on the grid, and with no technical changes allowed through till next year. You got to say that's a good choice for him. It looks like he'll probably be partnering Lewis Hamilton, although Lewis Hamilton has not confirmed where he is driving yet next year. But you would think, as he's top of the championship, going well in the best car on the grid at Mercedes, you've got to say that you'd expect Lewis Hamilton to probably renew his contract there. The weekend is almost here, folks. So hopefully, folks, yes, get yourself through today and have a wonderful weekend. Don't forget, you can listen to New Zealand Sports Radio on the go, whether it's doing the housework or on your commute to work. Just download New Zealand Sports Radio via the via iTunes, Acast, Spotify, or iHeartRadio podcasting apps. You have now started the best way up to speed with all the important sports news. Have a wonderful day, folks, and we'll be back here tomorrow at 7 a.m. To keep you up to date with all the news over the weekend.